I had to be maybe about 7 years old. We had just moved into this first house from these apartments in South Vallejo. Um, I was laying on my bed, which was a futon. It was one of those, foldable futons. You can make it into a bed, you can make it into a couch. That's what I was sleeping on. So I'm sleeping on this futon. I think either like my sister or like nobody was home for some reason. I don't know why. So I'm just there by myself in my room, and I'm facing the window. The window kind of looks like this. Facing the window, and I'm just laying down, relaxing, and I see some light coming through the window. I'm like, yo, what the hell? And it's blinding light, like it's like bright, like spotlight light. And then it just starts to expand the whole window and becomes like a door, like a light door. It's like, what the fuck? So I'm frozen. Like, I don't know. You be the judges. I don't know if it was a dream or not, but I doubt that it was a dream because it didn't feel like one. So I'm laying down, and this light starts to form a door around my window. And then before I know it, in walk these things. Now, you could call them what you want, aliens, grays, but that's what they look like. They were gray, they were tall, they had big eyes, heads that were bigger than their very thin bodies, and their appendages were long, and there was more than one of them. I can't tell you how many like there were. There weren't like a bunch. There was maybe like a handful. It was, you know what I mean, like 4 or 5 of them, maybe 6. I don't know. And I remember them like coming towards me, and what be this must this is what deers must feel like in like headlights when you shine headlights and they freeze and go holy shit. That is the same thing. I was frozen stiff. Same thing from like Harry Potter when she was like Petrificus Totalis and dude was all stiff. I was like this in my bed. I just couldn't move. I couldn't move a muscle. Believe me, my mind was telling my body to run, to get the fuck out the room. I just couldn't move. Now they're hovering over me like this, looking down. And I can hear them talk, but they're not talking out loud. Everything that I'm hearing is in my head, and there's multiple voices. They're like talking to each other, but they're talking to each other so I can hear them talk. I don't know. It's all telepathic, basically. It's all telepathic. None of it is auditory. And I hear them talking. I can't remember what they were talking about because I was too scared. I was just too frozen stiff to do anything. And I remember is them hovering over me and talking in my head about something that I can't remember. I don't remember if they were talking a different language. I swear after a certain point I understood what they were saying. And then just like that, they were gone. They were out of the room. I think it was my mother's voice coming through the door that shook me out of me being stiff because they were already gone, but I was still stiff laying down on the bed. And I heard my mom, Junior, from the front, and I'm like, oh, and I snapped out of it. And it was at that point when I'm 7, I don't know if this is a dream or not. When I got older, I learned about these phenomena called sleep paralysis, but I even think sleep paralysis is something more than what they're telling you. But it was my mother's voice that woke me up out of that trance. And as soon as I heard her voice, all of a sudden, it's like somebody took a sheet off of me and I could move again. Everything just came back to me. And it was, yeah, it had to be like 7. This had to be 97 because I know that my uncle, who unfortunately passed away, was still alive during this time. And it was weird because like a few years later is when they find It's when I get injured and they find something inside of my hip. I don't know if that is correlated or related to. I can tell you that before this incident happened, I remember seeing a UFO one time with my mother, who contends to this day that she saw it too. And I don't know if she was just telling me this to like console me. I told her this as an adult too, and she says, "No, I seen it." I was like, "Why didn't you say nothing? How come you didn't this and that?" But that leads me to why people don't talk about these kind of things. If I told you that I got shot at and that I know what it sounds like when bullets whiz by my ear, you'll believe me. You're quick to believe me. But if somebody tells you an experience like this, it's very easy for you to write this off as, make a bunch of excuses or give your own self-analysis of what it could be. But I'll tell you what, nobody ever tells me, "Hey man, I got." We never do that to people. Never go, "Oh man, I got shot or I got shot at," and then you go, "Guns aren't real, let alone bullets. The fuck is wrong with you?" Because you wouldn't dismiss somebody's traumatic experience like that. You wouldn't dismiss somebody's personal account of what took place. And it's that kind of ridicule for these traumatic events that happen with people that make people not want to come out and talk about it. And then when they do come out and have the courage to actually talk about these kind of things, they're ridiculed. they're ridiculed, they're made fun of, they're called crazy, a bunch of this shit. Instead of maybe just hearing them out. Because I would never tell you that your experience was disingenuous. So as I got older, I realized that not only is it okay to talk about these kind of things, it's somewhat necessary. Because then you can, it's like discussing your salary with somebody. It's so taboo, but at the same time, no, you should. Because it lets you gauge where other people are at. It lets you gauge where you yourself are at with these kind of things. So that's my alien experience. At least the actually seeing aliens, I can say at some point in my life, yeah, no, I seen them. They came into my room. People go, what? Excuse me? Like, it's a weird topic, man. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know if that's connected to what happened to me when I was 16 years old. I don't know if it was connected to that UFO. All right, so the UFO, I was younger than 7. I had to be maybe like 5, a kid, vivid imagination. But I remember it clear as day. We're at my auntie's house in where I'm from, and we got out the car and we're walking towards the house. It's a big house on this hill, and off in the distance I can see it. It's huge. There's lights around it and shit, and it's spinning and it's just hovering right there. And I'm holding my mom's hand and I'm pointing to it. I'm like, "Mom, look, this, Mom." And maybe she did see it because she refused to look. She refused. She had me by the hand and she was just like dragging me in the house. She was like, Dad, come on. Yeah, come on. So, I mean, this was years ago. This was like more than 25 years ago. So I don't know if what I seen was really, but I'm telling you, clear as day, there are certain things, even as kids, we remember vividly. And that was something that I vividly remember, was that UFO and these aliens coming into my room. So, again, man, take that how you want. You know what I'm saying? Take it how you want. These are just my experiences. I'm not trying to mislead anyone. I'm not trying to persuade anyone about anything. I'm just trying to tell you about shit that happened in my life. So maybe if you have something similar, or you know somebody who has something similar, you can gauge where you're at. And maybe you can create an open discussion about these sort of things. So it's not as taboo anymore. So when people come up to you and tell you, "Hey, this is so," you can go, yeah. Maybe you don't believe them, but at least you'll hear them out. Instead of just going, Guns aren't real, let alone bullets. Hey, man. Subscribe so you can hear more of this if you want. Comment, like, notification bell, all that bullshit. Until next time, y'all. Word.